quadriplegic's journey to discovering the difference between submitting and surrendering to Elohim, written by a quadriplegic on life support using just his eyes. In the relentless grip of muscular dystrophy, where each day erodes a little more of what once was, I've walked, or rather wheeled, a path that has stripped away illusions of control and revealed the profound essence of faith. Elohim, the Hebrew name for God that evokes his boundless creative power and sovereignty, has been my anchor through decades of trials. From 29 surgeries before age 6 to stopping the count at 40, my life has been a tapestry of pain, purpose, and divine intervention. I was able to walk until I was 36, when the progression of dystrophy confined me to a wheelchair. But it was in the depths of vulnerability that I truly grasped the difference between submitting to Elohim and fully surrendering to him. This journey, enriched by biblical truths and marked by personal revelations, began with conversations with my friend Dr. Stephen Ailes and intensified during my tracheotomy surgery in November 2022, culminating in quadriplegia 4 months later. Through it all, I've learned that submission obeys, but surrender transforms, even when confined to a wheelchair, longing for the freedom to serve again. The biblical viewpoint. Submission versus surrender to Elohim. Scripture delineates submission and surrender as distinct yet complementary responses to Elohim's authority. Elohim, as the creator in Genesis 1:1, who formed the cosmos from nothingness, demands more than superficial adherence. Submission is an active, humble alignment with God's will, as in James 4:7. Submit yourselves therefore to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. It empowers believers, fostering victory through obedience, as seen in Ephesians 5:21's call to mutual submission in reverence for Christ. Submission retains agency, a daily choice to follow divine commands without total relinquishment. Surrender, however, is utter abandonment, a living sacrifice as urged in Romans 12:1. Present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God. Jesus embodies this in Gethsemane. Not my will, but yours be done. Luke 22:42, yielding completely amid agony. Surrender acknowledges defeat in self-effort, trusting Elohim to redeem brokenness. While submission operates from strength, surrender emerges from vulnerability, yielding deeper intimacy and Elohim's recreative power. My personal discovery, beginning with Dr. Stephen Ailes. My path to this revelation started amid the progressive toll of muscular dystrophy, a condition I've battled since childhood with 29 surgeries by age 6 and over 40 in total. Dr. Stephen Ailes is a longtime friend, and our bond deepened through regular gatherings. Every Friday night, we'd share dinner, then smoke cigars and chat about life, faith, and everything in between. It was during one of those relaxed hangouts, amid the haze of cigar smoke, that Dr. Ailes posed a question that shifted my world. Have you ever considered surrendering to Elohim, not just submitting? I was confused by the distinction. He smiled and advised, let it percolate, encouraging me to mull it over without rush. For several months, I did just that, pondering the idea during quiet moments. Dr. Ailes likened submission to dutiful compliance, following protocols, while surrender meant releasing fears to Elohim's force. Submission aligns us, he said, echoing James 4:7, but surrender invites transformation. Amid my dystrophy's advance, I realized I'd submitted, adhering to routines, praying regularly. Yet, I withheld deeper frustrations. Those Friday nights, blending camaraderie and counsel, sowed seeds of surrender, preparing me for trials ahead. The culmination: tracheotomy surgery in November 2022, and the descent into quadriplegia. The distinction crystallized during my November 2022 tracheotomy, necessitated by dystrophy's respiratory assault. What began as a routine procedure devolved into terror. Waking paralyzed, unable to speak or move, I confronted Elohim in raw vulnerability. In that moment of sheer panic, a question seemed to rise from deep within, perhaps from Elohim himself. What if this is my will? The ideal response, the one echoing Jesus in Gethsemane, would have been, not my will, but yours be done. But in my fear and exhaustion, all I could muster internally was a desperate, please don't. I felt like such a coward, ashamed that I couldn't rise to the level of full surrender, that my faith faltered into a plea for escape rather than acceptance. Yet, even in that raw honesty, peace followed, as if Elohim honored my vulnerability. But the guilt lingered. Why couldn't I echo Christ's words? It was a humbling reminder that surrender isn't always poetic. Sometimes it's a broken whisper amid weakness. Recovery brought PTSD, anxiety, and a near-fatal breathing episode with oxygen in the 50s. 4 months later, in March 2023, dystrophy claimed quadriplegia, paralyzing me from the neck down. Ventilator-dependent, I rarely leave home, yearning for dates with my wife Jaquetta or outings with our kids. I'd like to get out and go on a date with my wife, I've shared. I want to go do things with my kids again. This echoes a 2012 surgery where a baseball-sized diaphragm hole displaced organs, requiring 9 hours, 8 surgeons, and scar tissue removal from infancy surgeries. Malnourished, I gained 100 pounds from IV nutrients, emerging without a belly button, like Adam, and with a Mickey button anchor. ICU psychosis tormented me for 14 days, but Jaquetta's presence was my lifeline. Family barred from ICU, yet her calm earned her a spot. The strongest person in the room wasn't me, it was her. For 5 days, she fought sleeplessly alongside nurses, alarms blaring, embodying surrender's trust. Bridging the biblical and personal. Why surrender matters. Scripture and scars converge. Submission sustained my service as Red Cross volunteer in San Diego, responding to fires 6 and 4 Christmas days, becoming governmental liaison officer, where commanders issued orders upon my arrival in a Barrett-plated Saturn, or ministering to 50,000 kids at Indian Hills Camp, earning Sir Barrett as a clean slate nickname elevated to Lord by a British parent. Yet surrender redeemed losses, as in 2 Corinthians 12:9. My power is made perfect in weakness. It freed me from control, turning paralysis into purpose. Just because you're disabled doesn't mean you still can't contribute, I affirm, aspiring to volunteer again, despite mobility barriers. Practical steps for your journey. Study Elohim's word. Reflect on Genesis 1 and Romans 12 for surrender's call. Seek meaningful dialogue. Like my chats with Dr. Ailes, cultivate friendships for deep conversations, perhaps over shared meals and thoughtful exchanges. Embrace vulnerability in prayer. In crises, shift from submissive requests to surrendered release, letting ideas percolate as needed, even if it means admitting fears and feeling like a coward in the moment. Honor support. Acknowledge warriors like Jaquetta, yielding burdens together. Conclusion. From scars to sovereign embrace. Through muscular dystrophy's crucible, from childhood surgeries to quadriplegic confinement, enriched by service as judge, volunteer, and camp leader, I've discovered submission obeys, while surrender liberates. In Elohim's hands, even a grounded life pulses with purpose. My whole life has been service, and though wheelchair-bound, I long to rejoin community. May you, too, surrender to His recreative power. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make His face shine upon you and be gracious to you.